after a wild Wednesday with this weather system coming across our state and bringing us some rain statewide and even some severe weather across South Florida. That weather system is now past us, but it's another high pressure system coming in behind it that's going to bring us a different set of threats as we go into our Thursday and Friday. Now, the weather system I was talking about is now going off to the Carolina coast. Now, high pressure is going to move in behind it. It's going to bring us some sunny skies, but also some very cold temperatures as the high pressure extends all the way from Canada to the Gulf Coast. That's going to funnel in some very cold and dry air all the way down into the state for our Thursday night and a Friday. Now, the close proximity of high and low pressure is also going to give us some gusty winds today on Thursday. So, sustained winds getting around 15 miles an hour across much of the peninsula and around 10 miles an hour across northwest Florida. But we are going to have some frequent gusts to about 20 to 25 miles an hour across much of the Florida peninsula and gusts around 15 miles an hour across northwest Florida. Now, it's those strong winds that's also going to give us a high risk for rip currents today, particularly along the Florida west coast from about Levy County down towards Lee County, about the Fort Myers area, but even a moderate risk of rip currents as we head down towards Naples. Now, the waters will also be choppy because of those high winds too, so there's an elevated threat of rip currents all across the North Florida coast as well. And those will probably continue into Friday as well. Now, those same breezy winds that are elevating our rip currents will also bring us a higher threat for wildfires today. The Storm Prediction Center in their fire weather outlook has placed all of North Florida in a critical fire risk, which means the development and rapid spread of wildfires is exceptionally high across Florida today. And what's causing that is some very low humidity values as a product of that drier air mass that's coming in. And these are the humidity values expected on Thursday afternoon, getting down to the 20% range across North Florida. And whenever we reach below 35%, it's really the critical threshold mark that really allows those wildfires to develop and spread. And so therefore the National Weather Service has issued red flag warnings extending for much of the state except for far southern portions of the peninsula for Thursday afternoon. And this will continue into Friday too, with fire weather watches and red flag warnings for all of the state on Friday. So this is definitely a multi-day threat. So you need to be very careful when you're doing some outdoor activities and even some indoor ones tonight as it gets cold. Now, there's some fire safety tips we want to keep in mind as you go throughout your Thursday and Friday. To reduce the threat of wildfires, go ahead and cleanse those gutters and eaves, remove any dead limbs or pine cones out of those gutters or away from the house, because those are definitely the catalyst just to start the fires. Now, also, if you're going to be doing any kind of grilling or bonfires, since it's going to get cold tonight, just remember to use those covers on the grills and properly extinguish any bonfires or burning that you may be doing outside tonight. Now, inside, if you are going to be using a fireplace, just remember to use a screen inside and keep the flues open and open your fireplace damper outside. Also, a good idea is to check your smoke detectors and remember where all your household firefighting tools may be, just in case anything happens. Most importantly, have a plan in case something does happen to your neighborhood community. Have a plan in place on where you guys are going to go to meet up and escape that fire danger threat. Now, it doesn't always have to be hot outside to have that wildfire threat. As you can see tonight, our temperatures are going to get pretty low. They're actually going to drop pretty rapidly after sunset tonight and even get below freezing by midnight across North Florida areas. We have some freezing temperatures extending all the way down into the Everglades area tonight, where we can have low to mid 30s across Central Florida and even some upper 30s and 40s across portions of South Florida. It's going to be really cold across North Florida. We can get down into the mid 20s by sunrise on Friday morning. And the good thing is it'll be only one night, so even though it'll feel like January, it'll be only one night as we get above freezing for most areas on Friday night. But because it is going to get so cold tonight, there is multiple freeze warnings for many portions of the state. We got freeze warnings extending all the way from the Jacksonville area down to the Everglades, mainly for inland portions of the peninsula areas, with hard freeze watches and warnings for the Swanee Valley, the Florida Big Bend, and the Eastern Panhandle, where temperatures will get below that 28-degree mark for several hours. Durations of sub-freezing temperatures will generally be in the 2 to 4 hour range across Central and South Florida, but as many as 4 to 8 hours across much of North Florida, and even as long as 12 hours across some of the normally colder inland locations right along the I-10 corridor. So, with all those cold temperatures tonight, we want to encourage Floridians to remember those 5 P's of cold weather safety, which is protecting people, plants, pets, pipes, and of course, practicing fire safety. As always, to build your fire emergency plan and get some more tips on cold weather, you can always go to floridadisaster.org.